Okay.
Thanks.
Um, Now this I really want to get more details on. Like, how does it work? What are your underwriting criteria? What are you guys usually looking at? What kind of data are you looking at? Like, how does the data flow? How does the underwriting work?
Yeah.
How does the capital, how does how does the full cycle of capital, I guess, life cycle look like?
Wow. I mean, most people don't even ask this question, but I think it's an important one, at least the one I like to talk about, because I think um, the fact that we're using data and mobile payments is what sets this type of financing apart, and it changes the process. Not now, by the way, not every lender who uses data to do financing changes their process, but I'm a big believer that you have to adapt a the existing processes to the new technologies. Otherwise, you're not taking advantage of the technology.
I
And
agree.
um, so what we do is we actually will, and just a clarification, right? We actually work with the tech-enabled operating partner, as I called it earlier. So the company that will manage the electric motorcycles, for example, or the company that is providing the inventory and the financing for that inventory. We'll work with them. Now they have figured out some kind of underwriting process. There's a lot of differences, so I won't try to describe all of them. They figured out who to give the money to, and they have a track record, a digital track record of what the defaults are, who the good borrowers are, who the bad borrowers are, what is the, on average, the default rate for this region, blah, blah, they have all this data.
Mm,
Um, and so what we do is we, first of all, we data integrate with that company so that we have a real-time data capture system in place. Once we have that real-time data capture system in place, we can then create standardized metrics and some custom metrics for that company that tell us how well they're performing. Because one of the things that is important is that you have to monitor the monitors,
yeah. Yeah.
right? And so what often happens in fintech, and we have stories of this in North America, is that they take their money from venture and they go crazy,
Yeah.
and their numbers look great for a bit, but then they start to go crazy and take more and more and more and more and more risk. And before you know it, their portfolio sucks. And so we have to monitor that and say, our money or the capital coming from all these other investors will only go to a portfolio that has the same risk exposure as when we did our initial DD.
Mm.
And so that real-time dashboard, if you will, of their performance and their metrics, that's what's important. And I want to clarify that it's not just accounting information, because accounting information is by nature filtered.
Mm.
It is operational information down at the ground level, at the asset level. It's okay, how many kilometers did that motorcycle drive? How many battery swaps per day per motorcycle? What was the average revenue per motorcycle? All those things is just one layer below, and I think more insightful than your typical revenue data. So, if you will, there's um, this is signals coming from a usual borrower. Do they pay? That's how a bank will usually deal with it. Your accounting statements. That's the next level.
Mm.
Next is, okay, I'm integrated into your credit card processing system or mobile payment system in our case. Um, what's your revenues on asset by asset basis? Okay, that's useful. Then the next level is, what are other metrics? How are you using that asset? How many days late did they pay? All those things, all those details that the company itself is using to manage risk. Plugging into that and using that is really, really useful.
So
So
essentially,
there's that. Mhm.
so let me check if I heard it right. So what it is that you can actually get the raw data, the all raw operational data from um the companies that you're funding. So essentially, the company you're funding can make underwriting decisions based on their raw data, but you are effectively getting that raw data and do the homework yourself again, just to check whether it's legit or not. Is that?
Yeah, more or less, right? More or less. And this is the standardization, right? Because once you start peeling back the onion,
Yeah.
uh, most of the metrics, the key metrics for these companies are the same or very similar. I mean, they're certainly almost exactly the same in each sector, right? one merchant
Totally.
lender is the same, is going to be very similar to the next. But you have to standardize that. Otherwise, every company seems to look different. And for your audience and for you, maybe even people who've done this, the act of data gathering is painful in a traditional sense. Hey, Cindy, how's your business doing? Great. Well, send me your data, please. Okay, great. It takes you a week. You send me a CSV file. I look at it. It's like, hey, what are these things? Week later passes. 3 weeks later, maybe you have a report that took you days or hours or whatever to actually create.
Right.
And then you repeat it again next month. That doesn't scale. But
Right.
if you actually can plug into the data systems and in a automated way, get dashboards of what's going on, you're actually much more, how do I say, you make the whole process of monitoring them much more scalable and much more accurate.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, okay, so yeah, because I'm assuming like if you guys lend to like 10 motorcycle companies, like they probably are running on very similar metrics, and you can just standardize it and take that data and underwrite it yourself, and you know, and you can measure performances, and then you can decide, okay, which one you can lend more, which one you want to scale back, and things like that.
Yeah. No, so exactly. So what we really want to be is this, I call it the intelligence layer for embedded finance. So the whole idea is to be able to give um, potential investors this source of real-time intelligence about the performance of each one of these embedded finance lenders or portfolios of these embedded finance lenders, so they can make better, transparent decisions.
So,
I think that's the key to what we're trying to do.
so essentially, you're an underwriting engine, right? You're the underwriting department. You're the technology underwriting department for big lenders. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so that's what we strive to be. We're not quite there yet, and it doesn't fit exactly that. It's we're providing the information.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And we're providing also the opportunity, the actual portfolios and so on that they can invest in.
Right.
And so, or the people in our network. So it's kind of this two-sided business, right? On one side, we're providing the information so that we're giving the big investors essentially the intelligence and the opportunity to be able to put their money towards a new market. And then on the other side, we're providing capital to these embedded finance lenders or portfolios of these embedded finance lenders so that they can get access to fresh sources of capital. So this
Right.
kind of two-sided business.
So essentially, you are putting your money where your mouth is. You believe in this, you saw the data, and you got underwriting information yourself. So you're willing to put money in there, and at the same time educating what you know about this to bigger capital providers so they can follow. So essentially that's right.
That's right.
Okay.
No, that's exactly right.
Great. Very interesting model.